Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm just honestly honored to be surrounded by so many incredible trainers and speakers and leaders and all of you who showed up on this Saturday. Like, congratulations to you guys for showing up. There's so many other things that you could be doing on your Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, but you chose to show up here, and that means something. And we don't take that for granted. And so I have to tell you that when I got started, I tried to talk myself out of this business. I tried to talk myself out of success. When I know I've said this so many times on so many different trainings, but when I say that success is 80% mindset or and 20% skill, that is a real thing. And so I tried to talk myself out of success so many different times. That's why I almost quit before I got started. And it was because somebody saw something a little bit special in me before I saw it in myself, that it gave me the courage to just take a step forward. It gave me the courage to go to my first event and to keep showing up to events. And it didn't happen overnight where I started to build that confidence, but it happened layer by layer. And there was a time in my life where I was in a really dark place, where I was really stuck in my business. I was stuck in my personal life. I was stuck in my head. I was stuck in my marriage. There's so many different things. And sometimes when you are in a radical place, sometimes you have to make radical changes to get yourself out of that place. And that is when, I decided to go to a live event because I was determined to not stay there, because we're all going to fall. Like, life happens. We're all going to go through really hard times. We're all going to fall. But the question is, how long are you going to stay there? Because it's a choice and it's up to you. You can decide to get up, brush yourself off, and move on and let it mold you and shape you and turn you into a better person, or you can choose to stay in that dark place. And I had hit a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to wallow in it anymore. I had stayed in a place that was a dark place for a while, and all of a sudden it was like a flip switch, and I was like, okay, what can I do to pull myself out of this? So I'm going to share with you a tip that I paid several $1,000s to learn. I'm going to give it to you for free. And if you've heard it before, maybe you're here because you need to hear it again. And so I went to an event, and it was called Date with Destiny, and it was with Tony Robbins. And I heard something at that event that completely shifted my life and got me unstuck. And that's the thing, is you never know when going to a live event, you're going to hear that one thing that's going to completely change your life. And it's happened to me every live event I've gone to. They're like little wins that stack on top of each other. But at this particular event, what I heard was Tony was talking about something called the primary question. And the primary question is a question that we all ask ourselves every single day, but you don't even realize you're doing it. It's really interesting. It's just kind of sneaky, and it's sitting in the back of your mind, and it's like your subconscious kind of rolls with it. And most of the time, the question that we ask ourselves isn't necessarily a good thing. And so he started interviewing all of these different people, and he wanted to know, what's your question? What do you ask yourself? And what he found is that the question that most people ask themselves is pretty terrible and pretty negative. And so I was listening to this, and I was hearing all different kinds of questions, like, will I be alone forever? Will I ever find success? And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, what is my question? And it was so weird. I couldn't think of anything. And if you've ever been to his events, they go till late. So I think we had left the event at 2 a.m. and we were walking back to the hotel. And I'll never forget this moment because it hit me so hard. But I remember standing on the sidewalk, and I just stopped, and I realized what the question was that I was asking myself every single day. And do I have your permission to be vulnerable? Because it's not easy to share like these personal moments. I hope I'm not alone on here, like with the negative self-talk, because the question that I had been asking myself every single day for as long as I can remember since I was a kid was, what's wrong with you? That was the question that I was asking. That was the terrible question. And, you know, it's a funny thing about the mind, and I'm going to show you something in a minute that's going to prove this, but it's a funny thing about the mind where when you ask yourself a question, you send marching orders to your subconscious to figure out an answer to that question. So when I was asking myself this terrible, like hateful question of myself, I was going to find all the things that was wrong with me, which is probably why I tried to talk myself out of this industry and talk myself out of success and confidence. And so once I realized that, I knew I had to change it, and I had to start asking myself the right questions. And I'm going to tell you, it is freaking hard at first, because when you have a habit that you have been used to doing for decades or years, and please tell me I'm not alone. If you're brave enough, I would love to hear in the chat, what is your question? And some of you may not know what it is right away. Some of it, you may be thinking about this all day. You may wake up at 3 a.m. tonight and you're like, holy cow, that was my question. That's the question I asked myself. But if you're brave enough to share, it's hard to share it, but I'd love to hear it. But then you have to reframe it. You have to start asking new questions. And so I started asking myself new questions like, how can I find more success today than I did yesterday? How can I love myself even more today than I did yesterday? How can I be even more present in this moment than I was before? I used to have an issue where I could never feel content where I was, because I was always wondering what was happening somewhere else. Has anybody ever felt that way? But what was interesting is all of a sudden I started feeling very content and very mindful and present in the moment when I started asking myself how I can be more present in this moment. How can I appreciate exactly where I am in this moment of time? And so when you start changing your questions, you're going to want to automatically revert back to your old questions or your old statements that you make about yourself. So I was in a radical place, so I had to go radical. Like, I put Post-it notes up all over my house. I must have looked like one of those hoarders, except with Post-it notes. And they were everywhere. They were on my mirror, they were in my bathroom, they were in the kitchen, they were on the fridge, they were on the cabinets. And so every time I passed by into a new room, I would read that new question. I would, for me, I would read that Bible scripture. Um, I would read that statement, and I would replace the old questions that I had. And so after that event, after I changed my question, 6 months later, I hit the top rank in the company. I put my marriage back together, and I completely changed my mental state. So why? Why did that happen? That is not a coincidence, you guys, when I had been stuck for several years. I'm going to show you why, because at first when it happens, you don't really understand, why did that just happen, or why did that change? This is actually scientific, so I'm going to prove it to you. So neuroscientists, of course, study the brain like crazy, and they want to know, why do these little habits make such a big effect? Well, the thing is, your brain doesn't actually care if what you say is true. It doesn't matter if it's fact or fiction. It just believes whatever you repeat to yourself. It does not care if it's true. It just believes it if you say it. So what do? So every time you think, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I'm unlucky. I can't find success. Everyone else can do this and I can't. Your brain starts to fire these neurological pathways that start to form together. And when you repeat it enough, when you believe it enough, when you say it enough, those neurons start to form these strong pathways that start to carry out those marching orders. But when you change what you say, when you say, I will find a way, I'm improving every day, how can I find more success today? How can I love myself even more today? How can I be present in this moment? You will rewire those neurological pathways in your brain. You will find more strength. You will find more focus. You will have more confidence. You will attract like-minded people. You will grow your team. It's called neuroplasticity. I might be saying it wrong. I don't even care. I just know that this is a real thing. It's your brain's ability to reshape itself based on what you feed it. So if you are feeding it negativity and negative thoughts, it's going to breed that. It's like you reap what you sow. And this is not just thinking positive, this is physically reprogramming your mind to form those new pathways. So you have to filter every single thought that comes through your head. You have to stand guard at the door of your own mind. Otherwise, these thoughts are going to take over. And these are like marching orders. Okay, so this is why we say success happens twice. First, it happens in the mind, and then it happens in your actions. You have to picture it, you have to work it, you have to own it, you have to be careful at what you say, you have to filter everything that comes into your mind. And I'm going to prove it to you with this, okay? Whether you're a fan of this woman or not, it doesn't matter. Please get the message out of what she's saying.
Just getting underway nationally.
It's going to do, it'll do well.
And if it doesn't?
And if it doesn't, I will still do well. I will do well because I'm not defined by a show. You know, I think we are defined by the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat other people. You know, it would be wonderful to be, you know, acclaimed as this, you know, talk show host who's made it. That would be wonderful. But if that doesn't happen, there are, you know, other important things in my life.
Yeah, you guys, that was Oprah before Oprah became Oprah. Did you know that this woman had every single odd stacked against her since she was little? I think her mom was 13 years old when she got pregnant with her. Oprah was, you know, sexually abused. She grew up in a poor area, in a poor home. Everything against her, but she believed differently. It didn't matter if her show Oprah became successful or not because she had already found success in her mind, so she knew it was going to happen with or without that show. And if you are somebody on here who's doubting yourself, doubting, you know, your business, doubting your purpose in life, you need to get to the event the most. And just like, you know, Tracy and Abby said, I mean, how brave of it was Tracy to show up alone in a room with 5 people that she didn't even know. But she knew she needed to be in the room because you never know when those breakthrough moments are going to happen. I know I'm going to have a breakthrough moment at the event. And because I'm going to have those conversations in the hallway. I'm going to hear one thing that's going to change everything for me because every event that I've ever attended has either added a rank or a 0 onto my paycheck. So if you're thinking about it, maybe you're on the fence, we'll figure it out. You guys, we'll figure out roommates, we'll figure out how to get you there, we'll figure out the hotels, we'll link arms with you. And we're also going to have some fun. So I get to share, you know, now that I've beat up on you a little bit, showing you how powerful the mind is, because it is so important. I also get to share some fun upcoming events and promotions with you. So if you're going to the event, put me in the chat. And if you're thinking about going to the event, maybe you're on the fence and maybe you're just thinking, you know, just maybe. Put maybe in the chat. You know, one of us will reach out to you. We'll figure it out together. We'll figure out how to make it work because it really is that important. This is a secret that if you want to know how top money earners, how leaders are successful in the business, the secret is getting to a live event at least once a quarter. Because all sales is the transfer of belief. So when you go to that event and you pull your energy up, when you bring your belief through the ceiling, that's what happens. That's the transfer of sales is all about the transfer of belief. So you've got to get that energy and that belief up, just like Abby said. So here's what's happening on this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to be 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're going to get all the deets coming about the conference. They're going to talk about the agenda preview, special events that they're having. They're going to be talking about the speakers. They're going to be doing swag reveals. And I will tell you, there are a lot of really creative things happening at this event. So you do not want to miss this preview call, because this is going to break it down for you. And if you were on the fence, I can promise you, after hearing everything that they have coming at this event, you're going to want to do everything you can to get there. So put this on your calendar. This is happening this Wednesday, January 28th. And don't miss this. We'll have this posted in all of our groups so you can share this with your teams. Now, we're also having a neon party. Who's excited about this theme, you guys? I am actually really pumped about this. So we are going to have a best dress for this. So you go all out, get really creative. Like, what's your best neon K-beauty pop-up look? What's your best just neon 80s look? Whatever it is, it's all things neon. We are going to have DJ, dancing, light shows. We're going to have raffles and swag. We're going to have a 360 photo booth. We are going to have that best costume contest. So this is going to happen Saturday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, because we'll all be in California. This is a Team 1% event. So this is just for Team 1%. So do everything you can to be in the room. I can promise you, you're going to have some conversations, some fun, some breakthroughs are going to happen in this room. So you don't want to miss this. And to add to even more excitement this week, we have a Valentine's Day promo that is happening this Monday at noon Pacific time. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a few different bundles. So you can see the 3 different bundles that they have. And you can see that, like, if you buy the collagen with the calming balance gel, the mist spray, you're going to get a free box of collagen with that. And you're also going to get a free red and white Remon gift bag. Now, you can see the middle one, there's an ICD bundle. There's also a makeup bundle. You can see the freebies that come with that. But what also you're getting with this is you're getting extra trip points. Okay, so the trip is about 75% full. So there's still time to run, but I can tell you a lot of people are on the verge to getting to that next tier. So you want to do everything you can to run to get on the trip by the end of this month. This is the last month to qualify. And when you promote these bundles, you're actually getting extra trip points. You're getting about 1.5 to 2.5 times more trip points with these bundles. And you also earn travel points based on your personal purchases made by your personally sponsored. So if you're their sponsor, and on purchases, I'm sorry. So I said that wrong. Purchases made by your personally sponsored customers and purchases made by your personally sponsored planners. So people that you personally sponsored, if they're a planner or if they're a customer, you're going to get extra trip points, or your personal purchases. So you are not only getting trip points, but you're getting free products, the bundles, better pricing. So this is a really, really good deal. It's going to run through the end of the month. So definitely run with this. With that, I get the honor to pass it over to my incredible sponsor, Susan Manuello. Where is she? There she is. Hi. So Susan has had a fun week. I just have to share this. This is kind of a fun thing about her. She's actually been an alumni for the Denver Broncos. She was a cheerleader for them. So they actually brought the alumni back in. So she's been in cheerleading practice this week. I'm like, how fun is that? Last night I was like, LETS Geo, let's go. And so she's been working on that this week. You guys, Susan has done it all. I call her my industry insider because she's always like, oh yeah, I know them, or I work there. Or we talked about the Denver Broncos cheerleader, but she's also worked on Red Bull circuits. She's traveled internationally. She was also Miss Colorado. She has competed in local pageants as well as international pageants. And she also owns a mortgage company. And so she's done all these things, but I share that with you to tell you that she obviously chooses to spend her time with Remon when time is so valuable, because we see what's happening with K-Beauty and the unique timing that we're in. We heard oh shoot, who shared it? Abby shared it, that the network marketing industry is 328 billion. But if you actually think about it, in 2025, K-beauty was 15 billion, but they're projecting by the year 2030 that it will be 187 billion dollars. So 187 billion in K-beauty, 328 billion in network marketing. I'm like, holy cow, when I put those two numbers together, talk about being at the right place in the right time. And so Susan is choosing to spend her time so wisely in this industry because she's always been in the right place at the right time. She sees the vision and she chooses